Hi, I'm Kay Spivey. Today I wanted to talk about some really exciting news. A new study has been done that's found that readership of poetry, or at least that people who have admitted to reading poetry frequently, has increased over the past couple of years by a significant portion. In 2012 they were finding that only about 6% of adult readers admitted to reading poetry, and now it's up to 12%, which sounds like a very small number, but it's actually extremely significant, especially considering that it was only about 10 years ago that people were writing articles all over the place asking if poetry was dead, but poetry is very, very much alive, and the numbers are beginning to prove that. Now, some people might think that this isn't all that significant, there are a lot of other things happening in the world, 12% is still a small number, and some people might think that this means something detrimental to the poetry community, that there's too much saturation in what had previously been a niche market, and I can see a lot of different sides of the argument coming up. But the one thing that I know for sure is that more people reading poetry is absolutely a good thing. Poetry teaches a completely different skill from fiction. It teaches a critical thinking, it teaches an emotional connection. Poetry is so necessary to the way we look at the world. When I was in high school, over 10 years ago now, we really didn't have a very thorough poetry unit. There was a very small amount of interest among the people that I went to school with for poetry. Thanks to the internet, thanks to poets like Rupi Kaur and Sarah Kay, who have been able to use online platforms to expand interest in poetry, and they're just two that I'm mentioning because they're two that I found easily over the internet and I really enjoyed, and who I feel like have brought a new generation into interest about poetry who maybe wouldn't have been interested if not finding these particular forms. This new age of poetry is a fantastic thing. More readers, more people thinking. This is so, so good, and I'm so excited that the readership is going up and will continue to go up in the following years. This is a collaborative effort. This is lots of teachers showing an interest in teaching poetry in their classes. This is a lot more poets putting themselves out there on the internet and showing that yes, this is something that you don't need a degree to connect with. I'm connecting to you right now. This is so fantastic. I also read an article recently that was talking about this phenomenon from a different standpoint, and that is that there has been evidence throughout history that when people feel hopeless, when times are very hard, societally, politically, people do turn back to poetry, that this has been a pattern reoccurring throughout history, that poetry is the type of way that people connect on a level that combats hopelessness. And I think a lot of us are feeling hopeless now, and I think a lot of us are turning to poetry and to other forms of expression to try and make sense of the world around us. However, I think that even as the world gets better and improves, poetry is still something that is always going to be vital to what makes us human. And if you are turning to poetry now in this time because you feel helpless and because you feel like there's nothing you can do to make a difference when the world is the way that it is, I want to let you know that it is going to get better. We are not stuck in some unchangeable future hurtling towards the abyss. There are people out there every day who are working to make the world more accepting, more safe, cleaner, more hospitable, kinder. Every day people are working towards those goals. And while I do feel that poetry and literature and art and music and dance are all good ways to express yourself, to find connections, to make sense of the world around you, if you are feeling helpless, talk to someone, reach out to someone, make a one-on-one personal connection. It could just be to your close friends, to your family, it could be to someone online. Just talk to someone because it is not hopeless. Things will get better. The world is not going to stay the way it is right now, and we are all going to live towards a bright new future. Thanks for watching. Bye!